Welcome back to the Block Runner Podcast, episode 105. I am your host, William, always here with your co-host, Iman.
What's up, boys?
All right.
And girls.
Dude, look at this Bitcoin, dude.
I know, man.
We're going to explode 38,900.
That's all I got to say about that, dude. Just like ... Like, what's happening, man?
Yeah.
See, this is the thing. I'm supposed to be the guy, like, we could all rely on, right? Like, I got experience in this space and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I don't have experience, like,
this early in a
bull
run.
cycle.
Yeah.
This feels exactly like it felt towards the tail end of a bull run.
Yeah, so let's go back to 2017 again, and
something tells me it wasn't this bullish back then. But let's verify.
so we had a dump in January 2017. 34% dump, went from $1,100 to $700.
Okay, so that was when it was testing all-time high for the first time, right? Previous all-time high.
Yes, that's correct.
And it failed. Rejection. And then it came back,
Yeah.
pierced through, maybe like a few months later.
Yeah, so this is March, and then in 34% correction.
Yeah.
And then the summer came, and then that's when you jumped in, right? Somewhere around June, July.
Right there. That's SegWit sell-off, dude.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I learned about Bitcoin. Like, what the fuck is SegWit, dude? Like, why are people so scared of this thing, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my I was like, dude, Bitcoin's like 30% down, dude. Seems like a good buy opportunity, and I was right. And ever since then I was hooked.
Yeah.
Never left, dude. Probably never will.
Yeah, $1,700. And so this is we can't say that this is exactly what's going to happen next.
Exactly. That's the thing.
You know, there was, I wish I could find that tweet. I sent it to you about a super cycle.
Yeah.
And how the run-up in 2017 probably may not compare to the run-up in 2021. And we're going to see much higher highs because this could be a super cycle.
I need like a definition of what that means. Maybe can you find it? I mean, to me, it sounds like okay. So,
super cycle, Bitcoin, Twitter.
To me, it sounds like what super cycle is an indication.
Here it is. I found it already, dude.
Already? Okay. Let's find out what super cycle means. No need to speculate.
All right, here we go. Says Dan Held. So let's see who this guy is, because
who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, I keep seeing this guy everywhere. So Dan Held, growth of Kraken FX.
Okay.
Prior to Interchange HQ, acquired by Kraken FX. Growth at Uber. So this guy's pretty well known. I mean, I see him everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So let's go back to why Bitcoin may be going through a super cycle. This is December 2020.
Yeah.
This time is different. COVID, Gold 2.0 narrative, institutional herd, and ease of use have set a new stage. Instead of a normal bull bear cycle, Bitcoin would break convention and enter a super cycle. You probably first heard of Bitcoin in 2013 or 2017. I heard it in 2013 for the first time, and I was like,
blew it off.
Yeah. Then, and when friends and family were talking about the wild swings in price, Bitcoin's market cycle is typically around 4 years, and some hypothesize the cycle is induced by halvings. The idea being a reduction of supply, increase in demand, number go up. Satoshi describes it succinctly. As the number of users grows, the value per coin increases. It has the potential for a positive feedback loop. As users increase, the value goes up, which could attract more users to take advantage of the increasing value. Satoshi wrote this before Bitcoin was even worth a penny. In the chart below, we have Bitcoin's price and halvings, which are the dotted lines. As we can see, a bull run has occurred after each halving.
Yep, right on schedule.
Yep. However, this cycle is different. Never before has Bitcoin had such strong fundamentals against a macro backdrop that highlights exactly why Bitcoin is needed.
Okay.
The narrative is singular, and the ability for global value to flow into Bitcoin has never been easier.
Okay. I'm liking what I'm hearing.
Has never been easier. So the macro backdrop. While Bitcoin was planned during the 2008 financial crisis, it has blossomed largely during a macro bull run from 2008 to 2020. The traditional financial markets had a few minor corrections, but no recession.
Yep.
Until COVID came. When COVID came, the markets plunged. This was Bitcoin's first real test, which is something that you were talking about, that Bitcoin has never gone through a recession or hit any real stumbling block.
Well, it hasn't proven itself as like a safe haven asset in like any real macroeconomic, scenario where we need one, Traditionally, precious metals act as that safe haven asset. I guess they kind of did after the 2008 financial crisis. I'm pretty sure gold and silver were hit their all-time highs after that event.
Yeah.
So in that sense, those assets, they passed.
Yeah.
They served their use case. People legitimately were transitioning their wealth from finance, equities and whatnot, and real estate into precious metals.
Yeah.
So are we going to see that happen with Bitcoin? So COVID was the first. COVID was an actual,
the real test,
a real panic,
or
legitimately panicking, selling off their assets.
Yeah.
But we did the same thing.
Yeah.
We sold all our crypto, dude. We panicked. We even sold to the bottom, at $3,000 Bitcoin, $100 ETH. People were still selling. Wow.
Yeah.
So
we, as in the human population,
just we, as in holders of the stuff.
Well, I definitely didn't sell at that point.
The market definitely did.
Yeah, the market did.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean,
and it's who was it that said that be greedy when others are fearful? Man, that was a time to buy.
Pretty sure that was Warren Buffett. I'm pretty sure. It sounds like something he'd say. Yeah, when there's blood in the streets, which there pretty much was.
I mean, that was like a super bear cycle right there. That was like a hyper concentrated bear event.
Yeah, potentially could have catapulted us into this recession Dan is bringing
alluding to. Yeah,
there's been multiple events that could have totally pulled the rug from underneath our economy, but we've created this self-sustaining mechanism,
the printing machine,
the infinite printing machine, to where that never happens. Yeah. Apparently, it never can happen. I don't know. So, I guess keep reading on. See what else he says.
So COVID came. When COVID came, the markets plunged, all right? And then while Bitcoin suffered a nail-biting plunge during the March 12th liquidity crisis, which affected all assets, Bitcoin survived and surged out of the gates in late 2020 to reach all-time highs at 24,000.
Yeah.
So keep in mind, this was December 26, 2020. So while Bitcoin recovered, governments across the world engaged in unprecedented money printing. And when I say unprecedented, I mean never before in all recorded financial history, 10 trillion plus was printed across the world to bolster the traditional finance system.
Yeah.
This meant that governments were actively devaluing their currency, which is exactly what Bitcoin is built to protect against.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't think about getting earthquake insurance until an earthquake hits. Then the insurance companies are flooded with requests. Bitcoin was special purpose built to be a store of value in a world where you can't trust your government or bank. Those moments don't come around often enough, like the 2008 financial crisis. COVID brought Bitcoin's value into focus for the world. And because of that, a new market participant started to buy Bitcoin, the institutions. The institutional herd is here. In late 2017, the meme, the institutional herd is coming, wasn't wrong. It was just early. When COVID roiled the markets, institutions were searching for a safe store of value. Bitcoin offers a unique store of value that is objectively better than gold. There it goes. You see that? With higher upside potential. And from a portfolio construction perspective, Bitcoin is an uncorrelated asset which improves a portfolio's return per unit of risk. Institutions manage over 100 trillion. Here are the financial institutions that are and trading legends that have recognized Bitcoin as gold 2.0 over the last 4 months. Fidelity, JP Morgan, Bloomberg, Deutsche Bank, Citibank, Jefferies, BlackRock, Guggenheim, Alliance Bernstein, Bill Miller, Mass Mutual, plus more. Singular narrative.
Okay.
Any comments so far?
Yeah, this guy's going too deep, dude. This guy's going.
I'm liking it, dude. This is like a It's a good story.
Yeah. So, what's the ultimate
First,
Why
Bitcoin
okay.
is way better than gold,
Sure.
and we've had
Sure. Okay. From a technical perspective, I guess, right?
I mean,
As far as like
from a technical perspective, Bitcoin has a way higher upside, right?
Okay, yeah, of course.
So that's one reason why Bitcoin is better than gold. Second reason, from an actual technical perspective of Bitcoin versus gold, you can transfer Bitcoin easy, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin is way better than gold. And then from the only thing that gold beats Bitcoin is a store of value. And I think
As in more like of a stable.
a stable coin.
When you hear store of value, you're not expecting volatility. You're expecting you put your money in it, you reserve it, you don't have to worry about it for the next decade potentially, and it should be relatively like
the same.
Your wealth should have been stored.
Yeah.
You don't want to look at it like, oh fuck, I lost 90% of that. Like, man, that would suck.
Yeah.
You're not going to expect that from gold, but in Bitcoin's case, it doesn't. Apparently, if we're using that same 10-year time frame, it doesn't go down either. Yeah. Bitcoin has only gone up in the past 10 years, dude.
That's true.
But again, man, we still haven't seen it perform in like an actual, like macro, like a recession.
Yeah, I think Bitcoin has its own characteristics, has its own like unique character. Depending on which decade Bitcoin feels that a recession. Like, for example, if we get a recession in 2050, Bitcoin will probably do nothing. Versus a recession in 2021, Bitcoin's going to take a hit.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I guess it's fine. These little short-term panic sell-offs and stuff, it's expected. It's just human psychology. Even if we all believe in like...
Well, if there's like a recession or another pandemic or anything where it takes Bitcoin down, 50%, 80%, that is a buy of a lifetime.
Well, the difference is this next recession isn't going to be like the other ones we've seen in the past.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
That's what's so crazy about this, and why it all seems like so perfectly scripted, and like there's already a narrative already like pre-planned and built.
Yeah.
Like Satoshi saw it all coming like 12 years ago or whatever, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
He knew exactly what was going to happen. So I don't know, but the point is we have created such an impending problem for ourselves, like economically. So whenever the inevitable like shit hits the fan scenario does come about,
yeah,
like the evidence is going to be presentable in order for people to paint like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as like an actual necessary transition. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It would be a hard selling point. Like it's a hard selling point today when things are working. People still have jobs. There's a lot of people unemployed and whatnot, but relatively the economy's in a pretty decent state.
Yeah.
Life isn't like a hectic hell I'm only strictly speaking about like in our situation.
Yeah.
In the United States. I think that's a reason why you see countries like in the third world way more ready to accept something like cryptocurrency as opposed to us.
That's true.
Because they're already dealing with this dilemma of like, fuck, traditional finance blows, dude.
Runaway inflation, at least.
And like the banks don't service them,
Yeah.
They don't have the same opportunity, but they can't go and borrow money at will from the banks. They can't establish credit history at banks.
Yeah.
Like they don't have any assets to use as collateral. You know what I mean? So there's no banking infrastructure available for them.
Right.
So as soon as that becomes our reality too, it's going to make sense. Like things like Bitcoin and DeFi, taking over. And I was telling you that the other day, dude. Like, we're going pretty deep into DeFi investigation these days, right?
Yeah.
And we're learning a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially just general finance, dude. Like, I never would have imagined us like becoming like knowledgeable about finance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I went to school for biology.
Chemical engineering.
Exactly. We're not in that realm, dude.
Yeah.
Like, at all. But we've learned a lot. And I don't know, like I'm getting this gut feeling of like, dude, it's almost inevitable. Like what's being built here in this crypto ecosystem is going to swallow.
Yeah, for
everything.
sure. 100%.
Yeah.
I think that's why we're into it. It's because of that potential.
Yeah.
And the opportunity.
And we see it, dude.
And we've experienced something like this before with the internet. We were too young to like participate.
Yeah, that must be what those those early developers thought like, holy shit, this is actually going to take over.
It's going to take over the world. And it did.
And it did. It literally taking over everything.
It swallowed everything.
It swallowed.
I mean, Amazon swallowed pretty much literally everything.
Yeah. Like the only reason GameStop is still in existence is because of a meme.
Yeah. Internet meme.
A meme pump.
Yeah.
That thing's going right back down to fucking
$4 again.
Yeah, straight despair. Just because like the nature of their business model, it's being phased out by the internet.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Unless they could figure out how to transition.
Now we did learn that GameStop isn't at the brink of bankruptcy though.
It's true.
They're still making good money.
It's a good point.
So
you can't be Yeah.
I mean, thanks to deep fucking value, right?
Yeah, he actually did some good due diligence. You know what I mean? He found out, like, according to their balance sheet, they're not as in a bad of state as their stock valuation reflected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think they were.
He was talking about it in July of last year, and he was buying in since then.
I think they had like $6 billion or something on their annual revenue, and it was like a $200 million stock valuation. Like, what?
Yeah.
How does that make any sense?
Yeah. So clearly, it was the shorters bringing the price down.
Yeah. So I retract my shit on GameStop statement.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, GameStop.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
But the business model is a brick and mortar and come and exchange your games. That's old.
Yeah.
Even game companies, they're not shipping physical boxes anymore.
Especially during the era of COVID and shit. Like that.
Even less.
Even less.
Yeah.
But regardless, so yeah, that's that sentiment of like, man, we're gonna change everything. I feel like it exists here in the crypto space. I didn't feel that as much like 3 years ago. I felt more like whenever the ICO boom was happening, shit, dude. Like I kind of felt like, man, this is all like a bunch of bullshit. You know what I mean? Like the majority of it, you know.
And it was.
It was.
It definitely was.
It was. But like I look into DeFi and like, man, everything just for some reason
makes sense.
Feels useful.
It needs,
because almost every DeFi protocol at some point are going to be interconnected just to form like this big global financial infrastructure.
Yeah, agreed.
Just like what exists in traditional finance. I mean, it's not just one bank in traditional finance. There's like a whole bunch of different banks working in conglomeration.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of different like regulatory things to like establish standards and establish like, I don't know, just make sure things are legit.
Yeah.
So, and that's what these protocols are. But it's like each one has their own different like job, their own role within that ecosystem. But the end goal is for like anybody to have access to it to where, you know, if you are that guy who's living in that roughed up part of the world, you know, where you don't have much money to your name, as long as you're buying Bitcoin and Ethereum,
dude,
you're in.
You're sitting pretty.
You're in the financial infrastructure of the future, dude.
Yeah.
Like that's fucking insane to think about.
It is. All it takes is an app.
Yeah, you could do it all on this, dude. Yeah. Like luckily these aren't that hard to make anymore. Like they're everywhere.
Yeah, you could buy like a badass cell phone for $300.
Exactly. That's I mean, these are just like technological like evolutionary steps, I guess, you know. Yeah. But man, I've never been so bullish about crypto in my life, dude.
Yeah, agreed.
Ever.
Agreed.
And I think the price is obviously reflecting that. Because we just made a video of like, holy shit, are we in a bubble?
Yeah.
Because everything is just going up so quickly, man. But I don't know.
Well, let's finish what Dan had to say.
Yeah.
It's almost over.
Okay.
So going back, the singular narrative. So in the 2017 bull run, there were many competing narratives to Bitcoin's Gold 2.0 narrative. Many of you probably remember ICOs and the relationships with Ethereum being a DApp platform. Also, Bitcoin was fighting against another narrative, which was the Confederate Fork Bitcoin Cash, which felt,
good one,
which felt that Bitcoin's purpose was to be a cheap PayPal. Both the DApp platform and cheap PayPal narratives failed to find traction and have largely faded away. Right now, Bitcoin's Gold 2.0 narrative is the only narrative that is driving the crypto space forward. It is the singular focal point that will continue to accrue attention and purchasing demand. Additionally, there was very little content to help newcomers understand Bitcoin and for existing Bitcoiners to maintain the faith. After the 2017 bull run, there was an exponential wave of great content that enabled a higher conversion rate of no-coiners to Bitcoiners. So availability and ease of use. In 2013 and 2017 Bitcoin bull runs, it was relatively hard to buy Bitcoin. Often you had to send a wire and understand how an order book worked. Now you can buy Bitcoin with PayPal or your traditional brokerage like Robinhood. So these aren't real Bitcoins, by the way. So don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin was made for this moment. It is easier to understand and purchase from a wide variety of places. What happens when ownership of Bitcoin moves from 0.01% of the world to 1%? So that's 100x.
So is that where we are right now? We're at 0.01%.
Could that be right?
We really need to confirm that figure. If it is 0.01%, that's kind of bonkers. I feel like it has to be bigger than
So
that.
7 trillion, 700 billion. Wait, no.
7 billion.
7 billion, yeah.
Yeah, whoa,
why
bro.
did I say
What world
7
are you
trillion?
living on, dude?
I'm thinking about gold market cap or something. But anyway,
Yeah, we like
7. So
Yeah.
let's give it 8 billion. 8 billion, 800 million, 80 million.
what's that? 1%?
Wait. Yeah. 80 million people in crypto? That's a lot.
That sounds about right, actually.
Damn,
That sounds about right.
That
80
sounds
million
right.
sounds about right. I bet you there's about 80 million Bitcoin holders in the world. Dude, that's
at best.
yeah. That's
at
0.01%. Dude, that's nothing.
Oh my god, dude.
That's
We're in the top
nothing, dude.
0.01% of the planet. Jeez.
So either we're like the most delusional 0.01% of the population,
or we're the most like
or we're just like extra early.
we're like the oracles.
I
in the
wouldn't
Matrix,
go
dude.
that far, dude. The oracles in the Matrix? Maybe. I mean, we are designing, not us.
Not us.
Us in a space, we're designing like, kind of like Matrix level, I don't know, existence.
Yeah.
Maybe us too, dude. Fucking the metaverse,
Well, I mean,
dude.
yeah, we are.
Fucking A. Why discredit our offerings? You know what I mean? We're building shit too. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
But-
pretty soon you'll be able to make an income from the metaverse.
exactly.
So
It's like a whole different layer of like mind fuck.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, we're all in a simulation, anyways, according to Elon, right?
yeah, but all we're doing is spawning the next one.
Yeah, that's
You know
right.
what I mean?
That's right.
So that whenever the AIs get strong enough, they'll just take over from here.
Well, speaking of, I mean, Elon said that Bitcoin. He said in retrospect it was inevitable.
But I mean, was he really talking about Bitcoin? Or
No, he definitely was talking about Bitcoin.
you think so?
Hell yeah.
In retrospect, it was inevitable. That does sound like something you would
Yeah.
say. I mean, that is something he said.
Yeah.
Well, why though, dude? So what do you? Let's dissect that
I mean,
in retrospect, dude. It's not like he wasn't aware, dude.
Well-
People have been claiming he's a busy guy. I get it, right? Why he's been like just kind of like brushing off the Bitcoin moon boys for the past
well,
years.
yeah, for sure. He's got reasons to like not pay attention to Bitcoin.
Yeah, like he's doing his own shit. I guess
And
I think it's that GameStop
dominating.
shit was actually so important.
Oh yeah, dude.
That's
for
that
real.
was the catalyst to all
Yeah, it
of
was.
this.
It
yeah,
was.
this whole sentiment of like, oh shit. Finally, people kind of like are starting to get the picture that like, man, there is something wrong with like institutional
Yeah.
finance and like government and just control, right? Centralization.
Yeah.
Like it's starting to permeate into
Dude,
people's consciousness.
See, this could feed into the super cycle theory.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he wrote this before that happened. though.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that's a good point.
Yeah.
But it's feeding
It
into
just
it.
makes it even more super cycle-ish. Maybe
Yeah.
that's why we're seeing such insane bull momentum. You know?
Yeah.
Like fuck.
Dang,
It
this
just
is
feels
crazy.
it feels so early in the cycle for it to see this kind of action. I don't know, man. Like I every day I wake up and it's like, what the hell's going on, man? It's just like, when are we gonna chill out?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But I mean, we've been chilling out for the last almost 3 years.
Good point.
So-
It's been like straight despair, dude.
Yeah, I mean, literally.
Straight despair. We lived through the despair phase. Yeah, man. How am I not numb to this yet? Like, I've been through this, and like, it's still. I guess that's a good thing. Still feels just as like ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
it's definitely a drug.
Yeah.
You know, the adrenaline is all there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. All right. So says Bitcoin was made for this moment about Bitcoin and PayPal and brokerage from Robinhood. It is easier to understand and purchase from a wide variety of places. Oh, yeah. So 0.01 to 1%. So what happens when part of the 100 trillion managed by institutions flows into Bitcoin to preserve wealth? It certainly won't be going from 20K to 100K. It could move from 20K to 1 million and then only have smaller cycles after. This may be one of the final big cycles.
Yeah, I think what he's describing, in order for that to happen, yeah, he's right in the sense that like the perfect storm has to be brewing. Just like that GameStop was the perfect storm
Yeah.
scenario. Like where institutions were over leveraging their short positions on like a single company, and it presented the opportunity to just like royally fuck them.
Yeah,
it's almost now. Let's extrapolate that same mentality and like those same practices. It's actually like,
well, if
finance is over leveraging everything.
Yeah,
the whole system is over leveraged.
Well, the governments are over leveraging the system.
Yeah.
So
true.
if everybody funnels their money into Bitcoin, just like a lot of people funnel their money into GME,
into GameStop, it's the same shit.
You are fighting literally against the government when you do that.
Yeah, you're fighting against this institutional, like, I don't know what to call it, dude.
Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, I guess. But this is the thing. People aren't that club hasn't hit them in the head yet.
That's
like
true.
because the I don't know. So what was it about GameStop again?
Well, I guess institutions were just pushing the price down because.
So this is what's going to happen.
Because of the game.
Yeah, but people became aware of like the absolute fuckery of the system whenever all of a sudden Robinhood shut its doors to GME purchasing, right? That's whenever people got pissed.
Yeah, for
They're
sure.
like, holy shit, dude,
this is manipulation.
Yeah, like the whole thing is rigged, you know?
Yeah, and so I'll pump the brakes a little bit on that just because the CEO of Robinhood did have potentially an explanation that you and I wouldn't understand just because we're not in that game.
Okay.
And
what was his explanation?
Which was a liquidity problem. So if you have too much volume on a single asset, you need to have funds in the bank to support the trading of that. And so they didn't, and so they had to stop.
Full funds or just like enough reserve?
Enough reserves.
So it literally got beyond that?
So it got beyond that, yeah.
Are we sure?
We're not sure. That's
just
the
what
thing.
He said.
That's what he said. Now he's going to Congress and they're doing this whole thing, but of course, going to Congress doesn't mean anything.
No,
I mean it's meaningless. It's like going to the principal's office.
It's just a show.
Yeah,
they're just going there to put on a show.
Yeah.
Going to the principal's office. That's hilarious.
I mean, it doesn't do anything.
It's the adult version of that.
Yeah,
you've been summoned to the principal's office. Holy shit, it's so funny. They just get grilled a little bit in front of C-SPAN. Yeah. And then go home. Like, all right, buddy, get the fuck out of here, dude. Don't do it again.
Yeah, I mean, the questions is, they're probably going to ask, like, Robin, how do you make your money?
Yeah.
It's like they asked Zuckerberg.
Yeah. It's like, what is the internet?
The finance space is like 100 times more complicated than, like, social media.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just wait till they start, like, first of all, whenever they start figuring out what crypto is doing in DeFi, then they're going to have to come up like, who do we fucking talk to? Like, you know, literally someone in Congress is be like, we need Satoshi.
Yeah.
It's like, summon Satoshi.
Yeah.
You know? And then you got to explain to him that, like,
Craig Wright.
Nobody knows who the fuck Satoshi is, you know?
Yeah.
And these Congress people, their heads are going to explode. It's like, you telling me? It's like, this guy's anonymous?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Like, now what? Now what are you going to do? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that's sort of...
That's sort of the whole point.
That feeds into the value of Bitcoin is that
there's no one to summon.
There's no one to summon, yeah, and it just exists. It's like spilled milk. You can't put it back.
Yeah.
So.
But so what I'm saying is, if this guy's right and like Bitcoin hits this ridiculous super cycle moment where it just surges to, I don't know, 500,000 per Bitcoin
in this cycle, man.
Yeah, like that's gonna ping the government's alarm, or I don't know, something.
It is.
Conversation is gonna start all over again, just like it did for GameStop.
Exactly.
Like, how do we slow this down? What do we do to, like, you know,
dude,
control this? Like, before it gets out of control.
You know what I'm thinking about now? Let's. How do we know? How can we confirm that we're in a super cycle? Maybe the indicators are, 50 institutions like going in, because this is the cycle where I predicted institutions really going in. And the next cycle, I would predict governments going in.
Yeah.
And if this is this type of super cycle, I mean, maybe it's not going to top out at 200,000. And it is going to go like 500,000-600,000, maybe 1 million, like this guy's saying.
He says up to 1 million.
Yeah. So we've been talking about this for quite a while now, at least 2 years. We're like, well, we're going to 100K. And all of a sudden, once we reach the year of bull, all of a sudden we're talking about 1 million potential.
Yeah.
So it's like, if we sell at 100K and it goes to 1 million, dude, imagine the feeling of despair,
The angst of like, man.
of missing out on $1 million Bitcoin.
I mean, but it'll literally be like that meme where like, you're wiping tears with like dollar bills, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Because even at 100K exit, like you're still chilling pretty hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's no $1 million exit though.
True. True. So what are you saying, dude? We hold out for $1 million?
No, definitely not. Don't hold out. But
I don't know, dude. That might be the play.
it depends. If we see institutions going in, like just dropping in 100
like
billion,
literally FOMOing in.
Yeah.
Like it's like,
dude,
what's the biggest institution you see just FOMO in? I don't know.
Well, BlackRock was the biggest one, but they only put like 1% or whatever, which is a ton of
money. But they can't just like buy. They have to like announce these things, don't they? And like it takes like months, doesn't it, for them to get like regulatory clearance for them to make these purchases and stuff?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying.
So we would know for sure that these institutions are buying.
I don't think we know. I think these institutions are just they're buying now, but like they're doing it in stealth mode, in stealth phases. What drives up these like manic surges is retail, dude. Like retail.
That's a good point.
Retail is like that's.
So you're saying over the counter they're buying like $50,000 worth of 50,000 bitcoins for like $100 billion, and they're doing it over the counter.
Probably.
So somebody gets $100 billion in cash, literally, and you get the ledger with 50,000.
I don't think that's happening.
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
How else would you do it over the counter?
I have no idea, dude. I don't know.
That's the only way to acquire 50,000 Bitcoin.
I mean, that's why I'm not so in your camp as like institutions are here yet.
Oh, dude,
because I don't think the financial instruments exist for them to purchase like in quantities that they would want to. You know what I mean? I don't think. I don't know. Maybe I'm
over
wrong.
the counter. Maybe. I mean, who's selling 50,000 Bitcoin? I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Is this like Roger Ver? He's just out there like, making bank deals? I mean, he might be. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, yeah, I don't know, dude.
Roger Ver would definitely not sell 50,000 Bitcoin.
Well, that's the point. So you have to get it from the market, right?
Well, that's the price going up, right?
I guess, dude. I don't know, man.
I mean, but this is important. Like we can't sell Bitcoin at 100K if it's inevitable it's going to go to $1 million in like 6 months.
All of this, DeFi included, all of this requires, whether we like it or not, like institutional involvement, right?
Well,
like that's, or does it not?
Well, it does.
It does.
It does for sure. Okay. But your point to DeFi is like the engine that the financial markets use to propel the financial markets. That is clearly not built yet in DeFi. Okay. I mean, it's built to a certain extent, but it's not tested. You're not testing it with like $1 trillion yet.
Yeah. No, hell no.
So not until it's tested with $1 trillion, that's when you have like DeFi, or that's when you have like financial institutions start hedging using crypto.
I don't even know if that's ever going to happen. I almost think there's going to be like an emergence of like institutional level powerhouses that come from the crypto space, like not from outside. It builds from within.
Huh?
You know what I mean? Potentially.
Well, sure, but but they still the institutions still have trillions of dollars under management.
I know, but it's like institutions. They're such like they're so
but dude,
cautious. They're late to the game. Like at this.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
Because I mean,
they have to be.
They have to be. They have customers and they have reputation and shit.
Yeah, but because they have customers, they have to be thinking about these things. That's their job.
Yeah,
is to like continue growing the money.
I mean, one thing is for certain. I know for sure. There's like demand is huge for Bitcoin and crypto. Mm-hmm. Dude, I'm getting hit up by so many relatives.
Yeah.
Just because they heard of my story about, a few years ago, like, hey, this guy knows about Bitcoin. Like, I keep hearing about it in the news, right? Like, so let's hit him up and see.
Yeah.
They literally asked, like, oh, should I buy Bitcoin? Like, straight up, after not, like, saying anything for years. Like, should I buy Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Like, God damn it, dude. I can't believe this. But, yeah, man, like, that didn't happen until the tail end of the bubble.
Until 20K Bitcoin or 10K Bitcoin.
Yeah, in 2017, I was getting those same messages. It's like...
But I mean, you should anticipate this, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you should anticipate this.
And I shouldn't fear it, right? Because
this is part of it.
It's part of it.
Now you're gonna have like third and fourth cousins at the end of this year when Bitcoin's like $280,000. Like, should I buy Bitcoin now?
Yeah.
And because I keep hearing everybody's gonna go to $1 million.
Yeah, I think this is part of it, man. Like, and that message needs to be like understood, because this is different from like traditional finance, and because finance traditionally is such a closed off like ecosystem.
Yeah,
you know,
it is.
So where like people like you and I should never have the opportunity to make money off of that shit.
Yeah,
and, like that's usually the case, right?
Yeah,
and they designed it for that purpose, and the government has so many walls put up, you know, to prevent us, I guess, from participating. So crypto's the inverse of that.
That's true.
Stripping down all those walls, dude.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that all my relatives are hitting me up like they want in.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be in because
it's for them.
It's for the rest of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
It literally is. Like when we first started this podcast, you were like greatest wealth transfer ever.
Yes.
It literally is that, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's actually happening before our eyes.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Yeah. Kind of crazy.
It is crazy. And you know, the family going into cryptocurrency, it just sounds weird. Just it's like when you're growing up and your parents start using like these social media, like in Facebook, and it's sort of like crypto's like old now.
Yeah,
you know?
You're right. It was like, oh no, the normies are coming, dude. It's like this isn't cool anymore.
Yeah.
As I was telling him, I was like, dude, like crypto markets, it's like it's not cool anymore. It's too normal. Like I need to like find a new market. So I was like thinking maybe I should start like stockpiling seeds or something like that.
Seeds.
Seeds is the new crypto, dude.
Yeah.
You know? Who the fuck's doing that?
Yeah. Yeah, but I think this becoming a super cycle, we do need to find those indicators, because if we can't identify what brings it into a super cycle, then we'll be selling at 100K and then just losing, 90% gains.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, you just have like responsible
900% gains. Actually,
you have like responsible exit strategies. I guess like you don't liquidate if let's say you're starting to become overly cautious, like around 100K, because that was like your original like prediction.
Yeah.
So hedge against yourself. Just take out 20%.
Yeah.
And put that into DAI or whatever whatever escape vehicle you feel is proper.
Yeah.
So you have 80% riding in the market. Cool. Goes to 200K. Now you've doubled your previous expectation. Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Now the risk is only getting higher from here. But I've just doubled my remaining, wealth that's still in the market. So let's just take out another 20% just to hedge the risk.
Yeah.
So let's say that is the top. Then fuck. Worst case, you've cashed out like 40% of your holdings.
Yeah.
Like at pretty reasonable prices, and you'll still have an opportunity to recognize like, okay, the bubble definitely popped, maybe like around 100K again, and just exit the rest, I guess. I don't know. Some stuff like that. Basically, like take profits along the way. Don't just wait for like one grand moment in time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because everybody's going to be talking about $1 million Bitcoin and it just never gets there, and then you get wrecked.
Yeah, even if you have like 10% of your holdings, by the time it does get to $1 million, if it does, that's still like
that's
huge.
$100,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Per Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I went to Wall Street Bets, and there's still people there telling everybody to hold the line.
Okay, that's actually a good point, dude.
Yeah,
it's actually good to like take screenshots of all of those comments, all of those threads, and just put it on your wall, dude. Paste them all over your wall for the rest of this year. Whenever we start looking like that, that's when you want to get out.
Yeah,
like, that is clear delusion, clear like everything you don't want to see. That's a market capitulating right there.
Yeah, it's not front page anymore, but they're like diamond hands, and it says who's still holding GME.
Yeah, dude. That message board is done for. Like it was actually legitimate. They had some gems from time to time, but I think something like 7 million new members subscribed in the last like 2 weeks. It's over, dude. Like nothing but Moon Central. There's no like legitimate, like nothing that's getting upvoted to the top anymore is like some kind of like legitimate play like it used to be. You know what I mean? Now it's just memes and Moon Boy talk. So yeah, GG.
Yeah.
But see, all that means is now they're migrating into the crypto space, dude. Because we haven't hit our GME moment yet.
Yeah, that's true.
We're not there yet, dude. And we kind of confirmed that today on like our regular YouTube video that we're about to publish.
Yeah.
That's like the title of this video is are we in a bubble? I mean, I think the clear answer is yes.
Yeah.
We're in a bubble, but we're like at the very beginning stages of it because all bubbles need like a drive, like a push.
Yeah.
And the last one was ICOs. This one for sure is DeFi. Like I think that's without a doubt, it's going to be what's going to push this market into like astronomical territory.
For sure.
And if you look at all the social indicators and stuff, like dude, DeFi hasn't even pinged the radar of like, you know, retail. Like, it hasn't even gotten close. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let's put some plugs in for those of you listening. We do daily YouTube content now, and it's been pretty successful.
Yeah, I think we've been at it for like 3 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And so we've collected like 250 followers in those 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, man.
And
it's been good.
It's been working. So so for those of you listening, make sure you watch our YouTube channel. There's some like really good content, and it's short. It's like between 10 and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's working out pretty well. And let's see, anything else? Our NFTs, and that's it.
Yeah, our NFTs are mooning now too.
Yeah, they're mooning.
Yeah, man, it's been a good experience overall because like it really forces us to like really dig into this market, dude. And there's just so much. It's definitely not good for like my fucking my anxiety and like just overall. I don't even know, like mental health maybe.
Yeah.
If I had my choice, I'd much rather just like be like on a mountain peak right now, just like meditating or some shit, just like soaking in the fresh air. You know what I mean? Like not without a zero like concern in the world.
Yeah.
But that's not reality, dude. Reality is
you gotta slum it.
I guess there's just so much shit going on, dude. Like you gotta keep your head to the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Damn, we touched 39,400.
Yeah.
In Bitcoin.
But yeah. Damn. Anyway, so speaking of Bitcoin, so yeah, that's the Bitcoin hypercycle, right? Super cycle.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Hypercycle. That's probably going to be next cycle is a hypercycle.
Yeah. So who knows, man? We haven't talked about like the macroeconomic situation in a while.
Yeah.
And really, there's no reason to touch on. I mean, there is reason, but at this point, who the fuck knows when things are gonna correct? It's just beyond our control at this point. You know, it's pretty much I don't know.
I mean, if you follow the moon math, the stock to flow ratio, and what Willy Woo has concocted here, we still got a long way to go. And one of the next sectors that we think is going to blow up is the DAO sector.
Yeah.
And just like we were talking about how DeFi kind of exploded in September and then it popped, then we think the next sector that's going to be doing like 1,000x returns potentially is the DAO sector.
Yeah.
And all it serves is to increase decentralization of a project. But it doesn't really add anything.
Well, we don't know. That's the point.
Because, I
mean, we don't know what it can add because it's not like some kind of like focal attempt at something. You know, usually like it can. You know, most projects in crypto have like a vision statement, right? Like they want to tackle a certain problem. Usually, it's like a team of people, individuals who assemble. They build a product, or at least like pitch a product to the community, to the market,
raise funds
with the token.
Yeah,
either they build it or they don't. But regardless, they're fixated on this issue. But these DAOs are like a little more.
It's more complicated because now you have to set up proposals,
exactly,
and then you have to.
Now it's not just like a handful of people, right?
Yeah,
it's a community of people that literally like they have to come to consensus among each other. What the fuck are we gonna do next? You know?
Yeah, it seems like unlikely to work, but as far as the token price goes for a lot of these DAO projects, they're all going up. But it could be just a remnant of the bull cycle. Just everything's going up.
Yeah, I guess. But
because what's a DAO that you're extremely bullish on? Like a DAO that hasn't really produced anything, but this group of people are supposed to come up with a product.
Yeah,
like it's hard to pick a DAO.
It is hard. Like, there's a whole bunch of them just spawning out like flies. You know, like they just keep popping up and emerging.
Yeah.
So yeah, how do we select which one? I think like the metrics to selection of like which DAO to support is different than like a general crypto project. A DAO is more like It's 100% community driven. I guess crypto projects kind of are too, but this is like next level community. I feel like
this is like meme power. Like that's how you measure a DAO, is how memeable their stuff is. Like
yeah,
Duck DAO.
like this is a good time to bring Decentraland into the conversation
Yeah.
because Decentraland is a powerhouse project, right?
Yeah.
It's top 100. I mean, I think it's teasing, but it's a stubborn project in the sense it never wants to leave that top 100 ranking. You know, I mean, man has been on a tear, and we have a DAO, you know, and we have a pretty relatively large community, you know, in respect to all these other projects. There's a lot of people like clued into the happenings of Decentraland, but
Yeah.
we're not seeing much community engagement, you know what I mean, as far as like how to actually govern the platform.
Okay.
It's all right. We don't need to look at that.
Yeah. It's just, well, the point of that article, the Medium article, was that Decentraland is recognizing that their DAO is being underutilized.
Yeah.
And in that article, it describes how there needs to be a template for outlining what a proposal should look like, should have the content that should be in that proposal and everything.
Yeah.
And so somebody actually wrote that template and did a very good job of kind of outlining everything and probably taking like cues from other DAO projects out there that are being somewhat successful.
Yeah.
But
see, that's what's so interesting though about Decentraland.
Do you remember the website for the DAOs?
Deep DAO?
It was, yeah, that's it. Deep DAO.
Deep DAO. So yeah, for those of y'all who don't know, this is a keep your eye on tool. Like it should be in your daily routine, just like CoinGecko is.
Yeah.
And DeFi Pulse and all that stuff. And if you're included into NFT art, what's Maddie's called? NFT Art Pulse, I think.
NFT
Pulse, maybe.
Yeah.
Either NFT Pulse and those kind of tools that like are ubiquitous, like like macro evaluating tools for sectors.
Oh,
you
look
know?
at that. It's gone up, dude.
Yeah, it's gone up significantly. You want to know why? I think it's Barnbridge.
Is it?
I think so.
304 million total locked. That's amazing.
I don't know. But yeah, so this is keeping track of like the actual, I don't know.
Total in and total out. So for example, if we show you Decentraland here, total in is 2.4 million. Sorry. 2.4 million and 0 out. So nobody is like getting money out of that DAO, that foundation.
Or yeah, basically the resources of the foundation or the DAO are not being utilized at all, basically. And if you look around, that's not the case for any other DAO in existence. You know, there's activity going on.
Yeah.
If you're to exist as like a decentralized ecosystem, then there needs to be in and outflow of these funds, you know, or else nothing gets built. And I think that's part of the problem with the culture of Decentraland that we've experienced up until this point, right? Since we've been involved, it's been mostly like we're dependent on the team to do pretty much everything, right? At this point.
Dude, check this out. Badger DAO, $65,000 in.
Oh, they made it in.
But 24,000 users?
That's a lot of members, bro.
And what does this number represent? 1 and 3 proposals and 3 voters.
They probably just have, yeah. And what are those?
One proposal and 3 votes.
So they're just now getting started. It sounds like, and they're just now generating revenue, I guess. Like, so whatever product they're building, Badger DAO, it's working, and their treasury is starting to get filled from it.
Yeah,
right? And they have tons of members. See, that's a lot of people. 24,000. But
that's interesting. Like, there's only a handful of members in each case.
Yeah, because those aren't real DAOs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you think the foundation of Decentraland represents the whole community?
No, definitely not.
I think it's like a handful of people that exist in that foundation, right?
Yeah.
So at some point, if we want Decentraland to become a true decentralized ecosystem,
every one of us has to be members.
Yeah, we need to have 30,000 people as our members. You know what I mean? At what point that happens, I don't know. It's a tough call to make, you know, because obviously.
Yeah, I mean, we want to do a couple of things. We want to do a short video on Decentraland, and we want to explain what we think Decentraland should be, just because of its potential. Because Decentraland has huge potential.
It does.
And the fact that there's 220 million mana that's going to be allocated over 10 years, and 10% of it is available right now, and not a single dime has gone out, represents a huge issue. So that's one issue. The second issue is, in order to vote, you have to have a lot of mana. And so right now, mana is highly concentrated in certain areas. And in that concentration, they really decide what happens with Decentraland once a DAO gets going.
Yeah.
And that presents another problem.
Yeah, that's just a fall off, like side effect, or I don't know what to call it.
Yeah, they're right.
Of the era that Decentraland came from, the 2017 ICO boom.
That's right.
Back then, the token distribution models were not like, they weren't
distributed.
They weren't distributed.
Just because if you had a lot of money to dump into Decentraland during the ICO, you got a lot of mana.
Yeah. So we have a situation where the wealth is concentrated in a very small pool of people.
Yeah.
Of members. If we have 30,000 members of our DAO, I'd say roughly probably 50 people are going to be like the one, own 99% of that wealth. Roughly.
Something probably less than 50 people, dude.
Potentially. I don't know. I really don't know the actual figures. But regardless, if mana is the governing power of that ecosystem, then that presents a major problem.
Yeah, and ultimately, those who hold a bunch of mana, they're not participating in anything Decentraland. Nothing. They're not building. They're not deploying. Nothing. So we want to do a short video. That way a lot of people can watch it and like consume like that content versus listening to a longer podcast.
Yeah, I guess because it's relevant to everyone, every ecosystem, right? Because every ecosystem is going to have the same battle to deal with.
That's right.
This DAO, at some point, like even if you're synthetics, if you're
Barn Bridge,
yeah, there's going to have to be a transition point where the concentration of development and like control and funds, all that migrates from like, the founding team, foundation, whatever you want to call it, to the general population of your token holders.
Yeah.
That's the obvious trend that crypto is heading towards, right?
Yeah, there might be some kind of formula that gets developed that says if you own more than 3 or 4% of the total token supply, it only counts as like 0.5%. So you could technically get outvoted if the larger community votes a single direction.
Just a way to like balance it out, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Either that or you issue a new governance token.
See, but that's
And then you still have the problem of distribution. How do you get it distributed?
And that's the thing. Like, because we're at this stalemate state, like we can make these proposals all day, but at the end of the day, I think we should, and it'd be good to test out our theories of whether or not this is a problem. Is we make these proposals as a community.
Yeah.
We submit them and we vote on them. If they're like impossible to pass through, it's obviously because the people who represent like the governance power don't want to lose that, right? So
yeah, of course.
And so how do you get around that? If that's I don't know either.
It's already not as decentralized as it needs to be. So I mean, like for example, the Decentraland team keeps coming out with these wearables from a bunch of these well-known artists. We didn't vote for that. People had to vote for us, and nobody did. We voted for ourselves.
I remember that. Yeah,
and
the people had huge issues. Well, not a lot of people, but people didn't like that we did that.
Oh, one person didn't.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of people were fine with it.
Yeah, but it's just.
But the point is, we had to vote for ourselves,
yeah.
And I mean, if we have to vote for ourselves for everything, nothing will ever get passed.
Yeah, I guess that's just, I don't know. There wasn't much.
And so the point is that we set up a voting system for just a simple thing like wearables. And that totally failed because those with the most mana got through, right? And I guess that's just a representation of if we propose like a valid proposal, like something extremely valid that makes sense across the board, there's a high chance that it's not going to get passed through just because nobody's voting. And second, those who have the most power aren't going for it just because it doesn't serve their agenda.
Yeah, I guess we won't know until more proposals start getting pushed through. That's really my biggest gripe. There's just I don't know. I don't know if there's enough.
The Central Games came out with a reasonable proposal and not a single like.
Yeah, if you don't know what we're talking about, there's a forum board for Decentraland. That's where the proposals are supposed to go through. And there's not much activity, and through our investigation of crypto, because that's like our daily task nowadays, we've been looking at other DAOs and seeing how active they are, how engaged their communities are with actually, submitting meaningful proposals and stuff. And yeah, man, we do not compare up until this point.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if we're lacking like incentives for people to want to participate or what. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, here's the example from Yemel on the template for doing a proposal. So there's a summary, an abstract, a motivation, a specification, and I mean, it's all there and it's all completely reasonable, but I mean, 4 likes, 111 views. Like this is a problem. How do you unlock, potentially, several millions of dollars when nobody's like voting or doing anything?
I mean, yeah, that's a lot of responsibility for a community to handle, I think. I mean, it's a lot of money. So I think the people who really are going to engage with these decisions are, I guess, the people who have the most to benefit from it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what makes the most sense. Like, why would an average Decentraland token holder really care where the funds get allocated if there's like no chance for them, I guess, to receive a piece of that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's like usually like the logic most things, but that's not true though. If the community, if you're holding mana and like you're really banking on the fact or the opportunity of the value of the mana token to go up, then you do have an interest in actually participating in the governance, right? Like, because your decisions will affect the future of the development of the platform,
Yeah.
Because that's the whole point of that mana allocation is like, how do we manage it? Where do we put it? Like, I don't know. Maybe the problem is this lack of proposals. That might be it.
I don't know.
We've only seen 1 or 2, and you're right. There's not much engagement or support for both of them.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find Decentral Games proposal. Decentraland DAO to use mana to farm DG. So DG is crushing right now. But his proposal basically states if you stake a portion of the mana to mine DG, the foundation gets to earn the farming, the tokens from farming.
Mm-hmm.
And so it increases the value of the foundation just by doing this. And it doesn't cost the foundation anything.
Yeah.
So it's a valid proposal and 5 likes, no comments.
Yeah, there needs to be like some actual discussion, I guess, whether or not this is a good idea. So I don't know, man. This is just an example of one DAO. So we started this conversation thinking like DAOs is probably going to be the next emerging sector. Badger is a good example. Might not have much value yet within its ecosystem because it's just getting off the floor. But obviously it has like huge member participation. That's why I'm so interested in it, because they're taking a different approach. They're going DAO first, community first, and then let's start building and we'll see what the fuck happens.
Yeah.
It's the possibilities are endless with that. But the point is like they don't have to go through this struggle of like convincing their community like to participate. Like they already show up ready to participate. You know what I mean?
It's true.
That's the difference.
That is unique.
Yeah, it's very unique.
All right. Well, that has been the Block Runner podcast. Thank you guys for listening and watching for those on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow us on Twitter at the Block Runner and also at MetaZone.io. And let us know what you think. I mean, we talked about the super cycle of Bitcoin and this cycle coming up. And we talked about DAOs. And just let us know what you think in the comment section. And
and don't be scared.
Yeah.
About this bubble stuff, bubble talk. It's just be cautious is all I say.
Yeah.
Or just don't even care.
Yeah.
That's probably better.
Just keep holding.
Yeah. Just don't even worry about this. This is like natural part of the market. There's going to be ups and downs.
Yeah.
You're going to have your anxieties and your fears and stuff. I mean, that's all it is.
And,
at
it's
the end
weird.
Of the day, like the big picture is what matters, what's being built and like the implications.
So, of course, all this comes with not investment advice. And I don't know how often we need to say that. I don't know if we need to say that every single video, episode, or description. I mean, who we should just get somebody on the podcast who can give investment advice.
Okay.
And see like what credentials they need to have in order to give those investment advices.
It's definitely not us though, right?
Well, I don't know.
Nah.
I mean, you know, an accredited investor is either one who has $1 million net worth or is savvy. What does savvy mean?
But I think people say that just to like void any possible, you know, like if somebody does take your advice and then gets wrecked,
sure,
somehow can like pin the blame on you. It's like, oh, but he told me to do it.
Yeah, but how does that blame work though? Like from legally standpoint, like why? Freedom of speech is you can go and you can say whatever you want.
That's a good point.
If
man.
people listen to you, how is it your fault?
I don't know.
Like how does that work?
There must be some precedent like at hand in order for that to be a thing, right? Where everyone's like, this is definitely not financial advice.
Yeah, but I know everyone listening right now and watching, you guys see this all the time. Everyone says this is not investment advice.
Yeah.
I wanna find out what that core came from. Like why is this happening?
Yeah.
Shouldn't it be obvious that you shouldn't really be trusting anybody doing your own research? But I guess not. Maybe it's not that obvious.
Yeah, I think that's the case. It's not that obvious.
Yeah. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Having said that, all in VTC.
Yeah.
Go all in. All right, we're out.